Hey boss, so today my video is on struggling with employee feedback, and if this is you, then today is the video that you definitely want to watch because I'm going to share with you some tips on how you can actually overcome that struggle by making sure that you are implementing the right strategies. So today I kind of just want you to think about how it is when you receive feedback. So think back to when you had a boss, if you had one. Think back how you really want to get your feedback on the great stuff that happened and even the things that can be improved upon. And that is the approach that I kind of want you to think about when you are giving feedback to your employees, because that's kind of what we focus on the most, is giving feedback to them. And I want you to think about what that means and your delivery. So the feedback I also want you to think about should be actually highlighting the great stuff that they're doing and also the things that they can improve upon, not just the negative. So I want you to keep that in mind. Hey, I'm Dr. Heather Williamson with the Transformation Group, and welcome back to the channel. All right, so let's talk about giving feedback effectively to employees. And there are 4 strategies that you can implement that will make this process so much easier and less stressful. And the first is, don't wait until the annual review in order to give it. So think about this. When you are giving feedback, your employee should not be finding out that information at the yearly review after all this time has passed. So what you should be doing is, when something pops up that they're not doing right, that they can be really improving upon, or they made a mistake, it needs to be addressed as soon as possible. And this is really important, one, so they're not finding out, 6 or 8 months later what they've done wrong. It's not fair to them because they really had no opportunity to change that behavior or improve that skill. And this is what you really want, because if they continue to do that behavior that you're not wanting, that is impacting the quality of work. It lowers it. And so this is a way that you can prevent that from happening. Also, and this gives your people actually time to improve upon that behavior change. Also, schedule regular check-ins in meeting with your employees. And this is a great time to share what they're doing well. It shouldn't always focus on the negative, because that is really, it's defeating in a way. And so if you're also highlighting the positive things that are happening and sharing those great things with others in either the department or in the team, is a really great way to motivate your team as well, because they're seeing that you're recognizing these behaviors. And so make sure that when you're checking in on a regular basis, that you are sharing both the good stuff and the bad stuff that needs some help. The second strategy I have for you is to focus only on giving feedback to the areas or what your employees have control over. So focusing feedback only on what employees can control is really important, because it is so frustrating to the employee when they are being held accountable for a task or a job role when they don't have the information that they need in order to be successful. Whether it comes down to lack of resources, lack of you being clear on expectations from what's expected to maybe the date when it's needed on your desk, or even sometimes a lot of departments work together on a project and they may not have control over employees in another department. So this can be a huge struggle from that employee's perspective when you're giving feedback and you're holding them accountable for things that are out of their control. It's also, it's not well received either when they are being held accountable for that. So make sure that you are clear on your expectations, you're clear on what is being communicated so they clearly understand, and that you are giving them the resources, the time frame, and the responsibility to to do their job correctly, especially if they're being responsible for it. All right. Now, the third strategy I have for you is to be specific. So this is really important because you have to be specific so there is a clear understanding of what the job entails. And when it comes to giving feedback, make sure that you are giving feedback that is specific as well. So you can't just say, for example, you know, thank you very much for putting that effort into that job, but it really would have been better, that report would have been better if you had more details. Well, details, schmetels, that means nothing. So what you need to be doing is, if you want more details, then share what details you are looking for. So when it comes to details, if you said something to the effect of, hey Joe, it would have been great in your report if you had included details that were more specific, so maybe gathered information from the company stakeholders, such as the employees, the clients or customers, and the vendors. This would have actually provided a more robust report, and we would have had better information to move forward on. See the difference? So this is a great way, when it comes to being specific, really focus on what it is that you're wanting when you are giving feedback. What improved behavior are you looking for? Also, when it comes to being specific, make sure that you are really focusing only on comments that center on job responsibilities and the expectations that you have for that employee. Don't be bringing in personal information that is not going to be constructive, nor is it really focusing on the job. Now, the fourth strategy I have for you is to meet in person. And I think this is really important, to have that face-to-face interaction. And it is the best way when sharing information, because you are having a better chance of getting it received accurately. And what I mean by that is those nonverbal cues, those that body language is much easier to see. You're not going to see it on the phone. You're not going to see it in an email. You're not going to really see it as well when it comes to video conferencing, especially when sometimes on some people's bandwidth, it's not very, the screen will freeze. I know this happens with clients that I'm working with. So face-to-face is always best, because then you're able to read those nonverbal cues that kind of share, I don't really understand, or they're missing information, because they'll like tilt their head. They'll kind of give that raising of the eyebrow, like, what? So those nonverbal cues are really important when you are communicating. And the face-to-face is a great way to do this effectively. Also, when it comes to meeting in person, make sure that you are creating an atmosphere where you are promoting two-way communication, that open communication where you're wanting the sharing of ideas, both from them and from you. This will actually allow the expressing of ideas that will improve things. It will also share ideas of what could be done better and maybe what needs to be removed, who knows. But sharing those ideas is really important, and having open communication is key. And you should always end your meeting with a comment from you, and you're being genuine, you're being authentic, where you ask the question, hey Joe, or hey Mary, I want to know what I can do better as your boss to help you be more successful in your job, or to help you be more efficient in your role. And this is really, it takes vulnerability from you, but it's a great way to build trust with that employee, especially when you're giving constructive feedback. So they know that you're coming from it from the perspective of, hey, I really want to help you. So if you come from and ask that question, hey Mary, what can I do to help you do your job better, or to help you be more successful? Really be authentic when you ask that question, and you will hopefully get the feedback that you need to help them be better. And this is really great in that feedback process. So it also is great for lending to open two-way communication as well. and you can actually clarify things. You can say, hey, I hear you say that you are wanting more responsibility and the ability to make decisions. And this is a great tool when giving feedback. All right, so let me recap real quickly the 4 strategies that I have for you if you are struggling with giving feedback to your employees to do this. One is don't wait until the annual review to actually give your feedback. The second is to give feedback only on what your employees can control. The third is to be specific, and then the fourth is to meet in person. So hopefully you liked this video. If you did, please like the button and also share with others that you might know who struggle with giving feedback to their employees as well. Also, if you like this video, then also you might want to not miss out on others where I am sharing great leadership tips to help you become a better boss. And there's a notification button that you just hit, and you'll be notified when the next video comes out. Also, last but not least, leave a comment on what you're doing when you're giving feedback that you can share with others. And if you have other questions or comments, please let me know those as well. And last but not least, now go out and be that boss that your employees want to work for. Until next time, bye, boss.